Hi, my name is Harvey with Macintoshia, the land of Mac learning. You can find us on the web at macintoshia.com. I'm going to take just a few moments to show you the preview application that comes with Mac OS X. It's a great application. It does more maybe than you think it does, and I'd like to show you that real quick. Here's some of the things that it does, but first I want to point out one of the books that we use in our online virtual classroom. We use outlines based on Switching to the Mac by David Pogue. He's a New York Times columnist. He writes the Missing Manual series, or edits it, and you can get that book online, certainly at Amazon or your favorite bookstore. I'll be using outlines out of the Snow Leopard edition. So I want to talk to you just for a moment about Apple's preview application. It does more than you would think, as I mentioned. It will connect to scanners to your Mac or over a network. You can connect to a camera and import photos, and it's a graphics viewer. Most people know that, but it also has some pretty good graphic editing features. I'll show you that real quick. You can view faxes, and it's a PDF reader. It's somewhat of an editor in that it gives you with PDFs, in that it gives you a good deal of flexibility on how you can annotate. So it's actually a little bit more powerful program than you would think, and I use it quite a bit, particularly if I'm working with graphics that are oriented towards screen. That would be 72 dots per inch. So as I mentioned, it imports camera photos, operates a scanner, has multiple pages and multiple views when you're viewing documents, either a multi-photo booklet or particularly PDFs is where that would apply. It has a graphics viewer and editor and a PDF reader. So I'm going to minimize this slide deck and just show you real quickly. Put that up in the corner and open the preview application. Bring it online. Okay? So you can see in the file menu, you're familiar with the fact that you have menus across the top, and with preview you've got preview, file, edit, view, go, tools, bookmarks, window, and help. And in the file menu you've got down about most of the way down, import from scanner, and notice that it says included network devices, so you could have a scanner on the network that you actually can import something from using preview. You can also do this with the image capture application that comes with the Macintosh. But notice also that you can take screenshots from a selection, from a window, and from an entire screen. Now, from selection is similar to Shift-Command-3 on the Macintosh. Shift-Command-4, which gives you a crosshairs that allows you to select something on your desktop in particular. Entire screen would be Shift-Command-3, and then Shift-Command-Window. I want to bring up a web browser just to show you real quick. This is one of our companies, Vids for Life. It creates photos to video, particularly for the web. And so I'm going to go back to preview, and I'm going to take file and from screenshot, and I'm going to say from a window. Now notice when I do that, I get this little camera icon, and when I bring it over an application that has a window, it turns that application window blue, and if I click, it took a picture. Okay, so now we're in preview. I'm going to get rid of that web browser. This is the preview application. I'll bring this down, and I'll show you some of the things that it can do. We'll move on. Let me go back to my slide deck. So we've talked about importing options. We've talked about that you can file import from scanner. I showed you that. It handles multiple pages with a sidebar, and I'll show you that real quickly. I'll bring up a PDF document. I'm going to open a long one. You see part of it here. I'll come back to editing in just a second. This is just a PDF document. It's a user guide for a piece of software called Flip for Mac. And notice that there are different ways on this right side of the PDF document that you can view it, and you can do that with this sidebar button. Notice click, it toggles off and on, and in the sidebar down here you can see different ways of actually viewing this multi-document. Okay, that's thumbnails. This would be obviously a table of contents, and notice that it has these cascading triangles that turn down and allow you to see subpages of the way it's organized. or you can actually see it by contact sheet. One of the cool things you can do with this is you can actually move pages around and reorder them both in the contact sheet view and in the thumbnails. And that comes from using a sidebar. So you can, it gives you a variety of things, and I'll also show you real quickly the annotation feature with Preview as it deals with a PDF. I click on Annotate, this button up here, and you'll notice here at the bottom that it generates this menu opportunity where I can go get an arrow. I could circle something if I wanted, a square. That's a text box that I'm actually, in essence, annotating this PDF. This is exactly what I'm doing. As well as a highlighter. So I can go in and highlight. I can actually even highlight in different colors if I wanted to point out multiple things. It also has a note feature where I can come over here, place a note, type if I was able to type, and I can collapse that note. Notice how the screen moved over, but the note's still there, and if I want to view it, I just click on it and it shows. So these annotations are pretty cool. One other thing that I'll do in editing this PDF is notice text. It's got a pretty sophisticated text copying feature. So I went up and got the text. Move is pretty obvious. It'll move the document up and down. But text is smart enough to know whether I want to just select a column or the whole thing. So it doesn't just automatically select everything. It gives you, it has a little bit of intelligence to it. Let me scroll down and find a place that's got multiple. And notice it just did that, whereas I could have selected more if I can get a page with multiple columns. Don't have a quick example of that, but it's a nice feature. And then of course you can select just something as a picture file if you wanted to do that. So I'm going to move that off the screen and come back. That shows you how to handle multiple pages with the sidebar. Now let's talk about the graphics viewer and editor real quick. Notice that Preview will open and save in a variety of file formats, including older ones related to Windows, and even older ones related to Macintosh, going back to the Mac Paint days. So JPEG, TIFF, PICT, GIF, a Windows bitmap file, BMP, PNG, which is used a lot on the web now, the older SGI, which is a Silicon Graphics format, TGA, the Targa format from back in the day with Windows, Photoshop, EPS, which is an encapsulated PostScript, and PDF. So you can save a graphic as PDF. It'll open and close and save as PDF documents. So here's the screen capture that I took, and I just want to briefly show you where most of the power in the editing of graphics is in Preview. It's in the Tools menu, and it gives you the option to adjust color. So maybe make sure this is on the screen. I'll move this over just a tad so you can see this. And so I'm just going to select the whole thing. I did that by Command A or Select All, which would be up here in the Apple in the Edit menu. And then I'm just going to play with these controls. I could select Auto Levels, which would automatically give its best guesstimate of making a good-looking picture. I have a reset button, so when I make some changes. But here's an exposure issue. If you have shadows in a photograph or something, you're able to raise the exposure. Often with photographs, I'm going to reset that. Often with photographs, you bump up the contrast just a tad bit. You might also come in and sharpen it. It gives you a sepia feature, which allows you to do a sepia. You also have control of saturation, so you can bump up the color, make it vivid or too vivid. You could also take all the color out, take with the saturation, and you have in essence a grayscale picture, as well as temperature and tint. Green, red, blue, RGB, red, green, blue is what the color profile of screens in general. So a lot of really nice features. You can also scale it in Tools by adjusting the size. So it gives you an option depending on how you want to measure it. it'll scale proportionally. It'll also resample if you need 72 dots per inch or pixels per inch is for screen. If you needed to go up to 300 for something that was print, you would be able to resample the image and scale it. And so that's a pretty cool feature. I'm going to show you, now that I have select all, I'm just going to winnow it down to a picture. Actually, I think I'll just start over and show you how a crop function works. I'll just take this picture real quick. Tools, crop, it's got the keyboard shortcut Command K, and maybe I want to adjust this picture a bit. Maybe I really want to adjust the contrast, see how it sort of took a little bit off, that haze a little bit off. Maybe I want to sharpen it up just a tad. Maybe I want to really make it punchy and add a lot more color to it by the saturation. Or maybe I just want to ask, say, well, what would you do with it to make it the best? And I'll do a reset and then click auto levels. And so that's a really cool feature. So the graphic editor has a good deal of power, more than you would think and more than most people know. And that's why it's a nice, inexpensive way to use a graphics editor. I'm going to click that window away. Don't save. I'm going to bring my slide deck back up to full view and continue through it. The PDF reader, I can bring that PDF back up, and one nice thing that it supports that I wish more Macintosh applications did support is you can zoom in and out by using Command minus and Command plus. It's a nice quick way to zoom in on something. All right, I'm going to take that out of the frame. We mentioned annotate, and we also talked about copying and saving a page that you have a graphic as a TIFF file that you could use in something else. So those are the things that Preview can do. Scanning software, it's a graphics viewer, fax viewer, PDF reader, and annotator. So come learn more about our business, Macintoshia. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. We do online classrooms with courses where you can sign up to learn how to use your Mac. Thanks so much. Sign up for our email and you'll be notified of our classes. Macintoshia, the land of Mac learning.